Hi there, I'm Jeremy Tong, aka Singapore Mountain Explorer. To date, I've climbed 44 mountains in the world, including Mount Everest. I'm also a mountain explorer and also an outdoor educator. Come and join me on the adventure as I climb and share with you the lessons from the mountains.
Welcome to In Conversation with Hemali. Hope you guys are all doing very well. Just the other day, we met a mountain hiker on In Conversation with Hemali, and today with me is a mountain climber, Mr. Jeremy Tong. At the age of 29, Jeremy is the youngest Singaporean to attempt the Mount Everest twice. Despite failing in his first attempt on the Mount Everest in 2017, he pushed himself forward and succeeded in 2019 by conquering the Everest. But conquering the Everest was more than just a matter of personal accomplishment. Jeremy has done his diploma in outdoor adventure learning from the Republic Polytechnic and holds a BSc in sports science and management from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. Jeremy was nominated for the Inspiring Youth category for the Singapore Silent Hero Awards, and then he received the award from the Minister for Social and Family Development and the second minister in the Ministry of National Development in 2019. Amongst the many mountains he has climbed, the toughest one was the Everest. And he had a social cause behind taking up the challenge of raising money for the Singapore Cancer Society. I am quoting him right here in front of him. Climbing is physically tough, but I really like the suffering that comes with it. As you go higher, you will have to make that hard decision of whether you want to turn back or not. It's quite sadistic, but I like the mental challenge and being at the mercy of the elements. Wow, it's like nothing could ever stop this man. Welcome, Jeremy, on In Conversation with Hemali. It is a pleasure to have you with us, and my viewers, nor I, can wait to hear from you now. Please share a little bit more about yourself before we proceed with the question answer session.
Hi everybody, hi Hemali, I'm Jeremy. I'm from Singapore, I'm a mountain climber and I climb for charity as well. And on the side, my full-time job, I'm working as an outdoor education specialist for United World College, Southeast Asia.
All right, okay, yep. That's very interesting.
Do expeditions to different parts of the world, mainly Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Nepal, and also Africa.
Yep. All right. Okay, so from right now, just what you said, your wife also goes for these expeditions, is it?
Yeah, so she also co-runs the company, and also basically she leads some of the expeditions that we run. Yep.
So it's a team together there. Wow, lovely. I'm going to be. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a husband and wife team, so we run it together.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to start with a very typical question, to a mountain climber. But why did you start climbing?
I started quite young, when I was 14 years old. I started in Singapore, was given an opportunity to climb in Malaysia as part of like a co-curricular activity. So I went with a group and we climbed in Malaysia, the highest mountain in, in Johor, also known as Mount Ophir. So that was not very high, it's like 1,200 meters, but it was my first time reaching the mountains, reaching the summit. And from then onwards, the interest started to grow, and I decided that this was something I was very passionate about. And slowly but surely, I decided to climb bigger and higher mountains.
All right.
Yeah, so that's about it. That's how I started.
Yeah. Wow. So Jeremy, this wasn't like, somebody like your family kind of pushed you to do it. It was just your own whole passion to take it forward, is it?
Yeah. My parents weren't really part of the equation, but I was given an opportunity by the school, and I sort of enjoyed the experience of climbing and going through the expedition, camping, cooking my own food, and a bit of suffering as well. Making my way up to the mountain summit. Yeah, so that was like the experience itself slowly conjured up my interest into climbing. Yeah.
Fantastic. So basically, it was like you were challenging yourself to keep moving ahead, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful. So how different is, trekking or hiking from mountain climbing?
Yeah. So basically, if you talk about trekking, it is basically more of on the 2 feet. You're walking long distances. You're trekking from a point to point in the mountain. So it could be you're not even may not even be climbing a summit. You might just be trekking around an area in the mountains.
Okay.
But if you're doing mountain climbing
Yeah.
or climbing, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
there are many different forms. There are rock climbing. There's also like mountain climbing. So in the sense where there is a certain objective, there is
Okay.
a summit that we are trying to attempt to reach the top.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Mount Everest or Mount Ophir, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to reach the top. And you also enlist a lot of specific skills, like for example, like your crampons, your mountaineering
Okay.
boots, your ice axe, just so that you can make sure that it's safe and
Right.
you can reach the summit safely as well.
Right. All right. So from what you said, I've understood that hiking could be on smaller heights, and when we talk about mountain climbing, it's further ahead and different kind of gears that you require for mountain climbing. Is that right?
Yeah, and also probably about a technical
Mm-hmm.
level of the mountain itself. Like for example, some mountains in the Swiss Alps require you. It's not very high. It's like
Mm-hmm.
2,000, 3,000 meters, but
Okay.
it's sheer ascent. It's steep, so you require ropes. You require what do you call it? All your ice screws and stuff like that.
I
But
understand.
then there's also like mountains in the Himalayas where they are extremely high,
Right.
not extremely technical, but at
Yeah.
the same time you require technical equipment as well.
Wow. All right. So, is it possible for you to share this journey of from trekking to climbing in your case?
Yeah, sure. So in the when I was 18, 19, I was already like doing a lot of trekking in the sense where in Malaysia, Indonesia, and a
Okay.
bit of China as well. I started doing that, and
Mm-hmm.
as I went into national service, yeah,
Okay. Yes.
I finished my NS, yeah, and then I went to university in Nanyang Technological University, and I was thinking about 4 years of my time I wanted to spend that
Okay.
time to focus on climbing bigger mountains above
Okay.
4,000 meters.
All right.
And so I slowly took time, especially during the holidays. I basically left my house, left Singapore, went to India, Nepal, Bolivia,
Wow.
basically in the pursuit of climbing bigger mountains. Yeah, so basically just trying to clock higher and higher altitudes.
Wow.
And as time went by,
Mm-hmm.
I managed to reach a 7,000-meter summit.
All right.
And then in 2016, I reached another 7,000 meter, the one that is in the background of this picture here. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's in Central Asia, in
Okay.
Tajikistan.
Oh,
And
nice.
slowly but surely, I realized, oh, I've climbed two 7,000-meter mountains, and I wanted to do something even bigger. And I
Wow.
realized I came to Everest.
Fabulous. So, just curious to know, you have climbed the mountains in India, in Nepal, and then you said in Bolivia, if I'm not wrong. How different is the climb? Is it different in any ways? Climbing in India or in Nepal or anywhere else?
Yeah. So for like Nepal and India, they are part of the Himalayas. The
Right.
mountains are very high. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the mountains I attempted in Nepal and India were 6,000-meter mountains, because that was where I was at. I climbed to 5,000 meters, and
Yeah.
I wanted to reach to 6,000. So
Wow.
it was more of like a trekking and an approach to the mountain, to the base
Mhm.
camp. And then there will be a few higher camps as well. So once I reach the base camp, I
Yeah.
go from there, and I go to the higher camps.
All
And
right.
then from the higher camps, we try a push to go to the summit. So it's quite similar in the sense where it's a Himalayan mountain.
Sure.
There's snow, there's ice. But in comparison to Bolivia, it is South America. Also 6,000-meter mountains,
All right.
quite difficult. A lot more snow.
Mm-hmm.
And we climb usually in the summer, which is in December. Yeah, so it's like a southern hemisphere, so it's opposite of
Right.
it's
Yeah.
opposite of what we normally have
What we have,
in
yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, did you kind of while you were climbing these places in India and Nepal, Bolivia, was it did you have any problems as far as the weather was concerned, or was it a part of your training program where you knew how to kind of deal with the weather changes?
Right. I guess for Nepal and India, some of the climbs I did without guides and some of the climbs I did with guides.
Okay.
The ones that with guides were a bit safer in the sense where the guides might be able to advise on the weather systems,
Sure.
whether there was a storm approaching, and ice conditions, the snow conditions as well as the wind. So they will be able to advise much better because they are local and they might know the place much better than myself. But on those climbs that I did it myself, well, I guess the danger was there. There was higher risk, but the adventure was there for sure. Yeah, but with regards to the weather, there were certain things that were taken note of, especially by the guides, and they let us know about that as well in advance. And then we decided whether or not we will go for the summit, whether it will be a bit dangerous, and so on and so forth. Yep.
Interesting. So which climb was the toughest and why was it the toughest?
I mean, if you ask me, I've climbed 44 mountains in the world.
Wow.
It's quite a lot of mountains.
44.
44, yeah. It's quite a lot. Yeah, in 15 years, it's quite a lot. I'm only 29, so I started when I was 15. So. But anyways, if you ask me, there are quite a lot of tough mountains out there.
Okay.
The one that you see behind me is quite a tough one. I climbed it without guides. It's Tajikistan, also known as Peak Kozeneskaya. It's 7,000
could you say that again?
Peak Kozeneskaya. It's quite a funny name to pronounce, but it is a Russian name.
Okay.
So it's quite a difficult mountain.
Okay.
And also within this area, there was another mountain called Communism, Peak
Communism. Okay.
Yeah, which I didn't attempt, but I initially wanted to do so.
Okay.
So this mountain is quite difficult. Everest itself, when I first attempted it, was one of my toughest challenges. Because of the cold, because of the wind, and because of I guess a bit of inexperience when I was trying to go and summit it the first time as well.
Right.
So that was why it was so difficult for me as well.
Yeah. And you didn't give up. You still went ahead for the next time.
Yeah, I went back 2 years after that.
So you would say it was tough because of the terrain, or was it tough because of your inexperience? How would you put it?
If you ask me, Everest is not technically very difficult. The only difficulty, I guess, on Everest is the altitude. It's 8,000 meters, 8,800 meters, the highest mountain in the world.
Yeah.
Is at the flying level of a jetliner. So when you are at the summit, you're talking about 1/3 of atmospheric oxygen that is available even at sea level. So it is a very tough environment, and it's called the death zone for a reason, because of the low amount of oxygen. And definitely a lot of people perished above the death zone on Mount Everest.
Oh yes.
So if you ask me, I guess a range of factors. It's multifactorial. Part of the reason why I didn't make the summit on the first round, inexperience. I didn't have much experience climbing at 8,000 meters. I didn't have much experience with how to use oxygen systems.
Right.
And dealing with the cold, was wearing a down suit. It's something it was my first time wearing that as well. So that was something new. But climbing, with regards to climbing, basic climbing, mountaineering, using the equipment, that's something I'm quite used to. But there were quite a lot of environmental factors that I guess made me decide that the 2017 attempt wouldn't be the successful one. Yep.
Right. And you just mentioned that, while the climb is tough, of course, I mean, apart from being tough and everything, people because of the altitude and all. You have, heard of people who perish over there. Did you have, any of those kind of experiences while you were climbing?
Yeah. In particular, on Mount Everest, in 2019, last year, I was climbing with an international team comprising of Americans,
Okay.
Polish, Indians, Nepalis, and Pakistani as well.
All right.
And one of the Americans that was in the team with me, he actually made the summit ahead
Okay.
of. I must have passed him on the way up or something like that. But unfortunately, he didn't manage to come down.
I'm
He
so
actually had
sorry.
a heart attack, and
Oh,
he perished on the mountain. And he had two Sherpas, but they couldn't bring him down, unfortunately, and they
right.
had to leave him there. So it was quite sad because he was a good friend of
Right.
mine,
Yeah,
and
sorry
we
to
were
know
together
this. Yes.
in the team as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a reason to have taken up the tough challenge of climbing the Mount Everest, and how strenuous was, I'm sure you had undergone a training process to kind of climb, the Everest. So the reason behind taking it up.
Um, so as I started climbing higher and higher through the years, during my uni time, I was starting to research quite a lot about previous climbers from Singapore or within the region about
Okay.
why they climbed as well. And um, as I started to go into more deeper into the research, I realized that I also wanted to do something quite amazing with my life. Like I thought,
Sure.
hey, I climbed 6,000 meters, man. I climbed 7. Maybe I could be one of the Singaporeans, or I could be one of those people that might be able to
Fantastic.
attempt the summit of Mount Everest, and do something for myself. And so I decided to come up with a plan, to get sponsorships,
Mhm.
to climb for a charity as well. So I decided to do it not only for myself,
Okay.
and I decided to do it for charity and raise funds and awareness for specific charities that I was quite concerned about. Yeah, so
Right.
that sort of making my passion something that can give back to the society as well, which I thought was quite meaningful, and using something that I'm quite good at, and uh, people are less fortunate than me. They cannot
Yes.
see as many things as I want to see in the world.
Sure.
So using my
Yes.
passion and giving back to society, that's something that I thought was quite amazing.
It's
Yeah.
it's very interesting that you are such a young man, and at a very young age you kind of thought of giving back to the society, and that is something really that I would want to appreciate, and my viewers would appreciate also. So Jeremy, what has been your success story? What led you to succeed in your dream of climbing the Everest and many other mountains, 44 mountains?
Yeah. I guess for me, my success story is not about myself. Is my journey. I have failed many times. Through the 44 mountains, I tried 3 to 4 times to try and reach 6,000 meters. And I failed 3 times. And I finally reached 6,000 meters.
Um,
And after which I decided that, I'm going to climb 7,000 meters. I'm going to try climb Everest. And the first time I went to Everest, I failed, 150 meters below. And I thought to myself, within that 1 year, maybe I should just give up on this dream of summiting Mount Everest. The mental pain of thinking of going back, with the sponsorships, spending
right.
so much commitment, and time just to get money,
Yeah.
and also my career being put on hold as well.
Yes, of
So
course.
all this thing was trying to pull me back. And I guess going back on the second attempt to climb Mount Everest and managing to summit it, raising funds for charity, and sort of being an inspiration to Singaporeans or people from overseas as well. I guess that's something that
Absolutely.
uh, sort of my success story in that sense, if you can call it.
Absolutely. You are an inspiration not only to Singaporeans, but to everybody, all around the world. And viewers, I want you to note that he mentioned that he failed, but he did not take the failure, as something to put him down. Rather, he took it as a step to move ahead. And he did. He didn't give up. Fantastic. So you've been given the name of being a Singapore hero. How did that feel? Of course, I'm sure it was very exciting, but I still want to know in your words, how did you feel about it? And in turn, what would you want to do for your country ahead?
Yeah. Actually, I was quite surprised
Yeah.
because when I was nominated for the Singapore Silent Heroes Award,
Yeah.
there were many other people that were doing amazing stuff, extraordinary stuff. They were doing so much things for charity. They were
Sure.
committing so much time and amazing projects that they had as well.
Okay.
And my campaign was just to raise awareness and funds for the Singapore Cancer Society and the Children's Cancer Foundation. So that was something that I was just using my passion, climbing and raising funds.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected to be nominated or even awarded that award.
Right.
So to be awarded, I was really surprised. During the award ceremony, I was like, "Oh, I won! Okay."
Wow.
And so the question now is, what can I do
Yes.
to better Singaporeans? So my next project is called the Singaporean Seven Summits,
Uh-huh.
2021 to 2024, where I will attempt to climb the last four of the seven summits in the world, the highest mountains in the world, within 4 years, and also raising funds for a charity, in particular the Singapore Association for the Visually Handicapped.
Oh,
So that is
certainly.
something, yeah, that's something that I've been quite concerned about as well, because like there are many people who are visually impaired in Singapore,
Yes.
and when I climb the mountains, I see the mountains, I see the world, and I want to be the eyes for them as well, and provide the inspiration so that they can, and also provide the funds for them to better their lives as well in Singapore.
Such a beautiful thought, Jeremy. Singapore is so fortunate to have a young man like you, who cares for its citizens so much. And I have to say this, that you've been very modest to say that, you were surprised to be awarded. But I think all Singaporeans would agree with me that you deserved it very well. Wonderful. Jeremy, a message for my viewers, please.
Oh, message. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I was thinking you had a message for me. A message for the viewers. I guess, well,
Yeah,
no matter what difficulties or tribulations you might have,
yeah,
or setbacks, it's only one setback. It can be two setbacks, three setbacks. Don't ever give up. Life is short. Take every opportunity, every stepping stone. Take it
yeah,
as a learning point,
yeah.
and other, you will definitely succeed in one way or another.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that splendid message that you leave behind. My viewers, I hope you heard that very clearly, that never let anything set you back. Keep moving ahead. Believe in yourself and keep going ahead. Thank you, Jeremy, for sharing your story with us, along with the Singaporeans, my audience from around the world. And me too, we feel so proud of connecting with you. One must conquer, achieve, and get to the top. One must know the end to be convinced that one can win at the end. To know there's no dream that mustn't be dared. Watch the video that will be attached to this, to the amazing heights that Jeremy rose to. That brings us to an end to an interesting conversation. Do like and subscribe to my channel and dream big. See you next week. And thanks a lot, Jeremy, for giving us your precious time. And you were fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hemali, for inviting me on to be a guest on your amazing conversation topic. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jeremy, wishing you the best for the 7th summit that you plan to do ahead. And I look forward to seeing you again in conversation with Hemali with that experience of yours. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.